Welcome to another episode of Through the Back Door. I don't know if anybody else got the bug that was going around New York City. I've been sick all week, like sick. So when I finally got the day off, the last thing I felt like doing was filming this episode, but I told myself I was going to film an episode a week and see where that got me. Because that's actually why I wanted to record this. Because I want to talk about consistency and showing up and what it actually looks like when you're building your dream career in fashion or in any other creative industry. Because it's not always cute or glamorous, sometimes it's literally just showing up for yourself every single day. So, this past week, on Sunday last week, I went to Brenda Hashtag's book event. I thought it was really great. I waited in line a little bit, but I got to talk to some people in line, and it was really interesting because I met a couple people who follow me on Instagram. And the feedback I get from a lot of people is that I'm posting content that people don't normally see on social media. If it's your first time here, I post about working in fashion, going to fashion school, getting into the industry, making a name for yourself, all the things that I'm trying to do, and I'm just sharing my tips and advice along the way. So, one thing I wanted to talk about is working in the industry while also building a name for yourself outside of maybe your 9 to 5 job. There's this kind of unspoken rule in the fashion industry that you're supposed to pick a lane. Either you're behind the scenes or you're visible. Either you're a designer or a creator, and usually you can't be both. It's kind of like you want to work in fashion or you want to talk about it. But I feel like to build a career in fashion, you can't always just be one thing because the industry is so competitive. As someone who never got the dream internship that then led to the dream jobs, sometimes you could just feel like you're one grain of sand on the beach in this industry. Sometimes getting into this industry can feel like impossible. And I definitely know how that is. And if you're someone like me who doesn't want to just work a corporate design job or just be on the sidelines, you kind of have to decide if you want to make a name for yourself and go for it, or if you're just comfortable working in the masses. Both are great, but I decided since I didn't get the dream opportunity, I'm just going to make the opportunity for myself. So that's what I'm doing with my social media, with this podcast, is hopefully inspiring other people to do the same or maybe giving you some advice along the way. But it's hard. Giving a lot of your creative ideas during the day and then at night trying to think of content, be involved, be online, be a presence online is a difficult task, but one that I think is worth it. But this is the thing, no one's checking on you, no one's asking you to do this, no one's making sure that you're clocking in. That's all stuff you have to do for yourself. And this is where consistency is really important because it builds self-concept and self-esteem. If you are constantly flaking on yourself, you're not going to trust yourself to be reliable. Think about a date. If someone always flaked on you, you probably wouldn't book anything with that person. So why are you flaking or ghosting on yourself? And especially after a week like this where I was sick all week long, it's definitely feels like something where you just want to disappear. But what is more important? Showing up every single day consistently or allowing your whims and your emotions to control your output? But this is sometimes what's required to happen if you want to build a successful career or brand or personal business. Sometimes you have to do a lot of the work in the dark and nobody really sees that. And this is what I find when I talk to a lot of people who are in this industry who are getting into it. They kind of feel like they're lost. Like they like working in the fashion industry, but they don't necessarily like working the 9 to 5 or like working in corporate fashion. They just kind of feel a little stuck. And so this is why I say to people, and this is the advice that has helped me, is think about all the things that you love doing. You like fashion, maybe you like working out, maybe you like engineering. Think about all the ways that those things can be combined into something that is the fashion industry. That's kind of what we're seeing right now. Think about data, but make it fashion. That did not exist prior to the creator making that account. Think about all these other content creators and business owners and people we see in the industry. These things did not exist before someone created them, and usually there's an interesting intersection of personal interest combining it with fashion. And I think that's the stories that people really love to hear. So always think about what makes you unique and then bring that into the industry. For me, I really like to connect people. I really like to share stories. I really like to share how people are successful, which is what's led me to making my networking event and this podcast. And while we're not overwhelmingly successful, I'm at the point where I feel like I have a trajectory and I know where I'm going. Versus before, I just felt like a lost person in a sea of bodies applying for the same jobs that ultimately sucked because, let's be real, a lot of assistant design jobs are not that great. And honestly, a lot of people are not that nice in this industry to begin with. That's an episode for a whole other day. One reason why I think it's important for you to build something outside of your career is because sometimes just a job and a resume doesn't actually protect you or propel you. And sometimes it also really doesn't satisfy you. If you're designing, let's say, you're designing men's woven tops and you're just in that category. Yes, you are probably a pro at that garment, but really is that satisfying your creative itch, the desire that you became a fashion designer in the first place? Probably not. So this is why I always tell people to just really lean into what makes you special and embrace the things that you really love. So, these are some things that I just want to leave you with. If you are working in the fashion industry, but also building something else for yourself on the side, content, brand, a community, you're not behind, you're building leverage. Consistency is how you build a non traditional fashion career in a very traditional industry. There's no boss checking in, there's no timelines, and really there's no rules. You just decide to show up again and again and again, and then the results speak for themselves. The only thing I really know about working in the industry for the last 4 years is this. You have to make something for yourself, and sometimes for me, that's not just designing clothes for another brand. It meant building a voice, building visibility, building a community, building a platform while still actually doing work in the industry. Because a lot of times it's not talent that gets you in the door, it's your visibility. So I hope this was a great pep talk for you. And if you have been thinking about doing something and you haven't started yet, now is a great time over the holidays. There's going to be lots of times to sit around, plan out what you want, and go for it. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.